All right. You know what time it is.
No.
God. Oh, God. Welcome.
It's a rough start.
Rough start. Welcome to Discussions from the Den. We are here every
Monday.
at
9 p.m.
where y'all at tonight?
Where are
Nine
the
of y'all.
folks?
Lord,
Where the
the
folks?
church is empty tonight. Y'all giving us Bible
Where the
study
folks?
night
I
versus
think they
Sunday
tired.
morning. Listen, you know what we need you to do? We need you to share this on your timeline. Let somebody know that Discussions from the Den is on.
You gotta go get them.
Yeah,
Go get them.
get your people tonight.
Go get your folk.
And
Knock on the door.
while we doing that,
Get it up now.
get up. Jocelyn, of course, we got our
Yeah.
faithfuls rocking
Oh
with
yeah,
us.
you see them.
Jocelyn Mumford, we see you in the comments.
Divine Burrows.
Sakiti. What's going on, y'all? 12 of y'all, 15. Okay, there we go. Let's keep it going. Welcome to tonight's show. Listen, we got a good subject for you tonight.
Yep.
We're talking faith versus facts.
Faith.
It's going to be good.
Facts.
I saw the executive pastor, Stephanie Guy, say, how are y'all going to rile me up tonight? Trust me, tonight is going to rile you up. Are you saved if you wear pants? Do you have the Holy Ghost if you don't? If you get the vaccine? Should churches shut down during COVID? Oh, we're going to talk about all of it tonight.
Oh boy.
We're going to talk about all of it tonight. And the many debates that are going on in the world. Before we do that, weekend rewind.
Can we?
How was your weekend?
I had a good weekend.
What you do?
I went to DC.
Spring said it's an echo.
Echo. Oh, you know what?
Doom, doom.
Let's make sure.
Is that better?
Everybody, make sure your
Let us
volumes
know.
are down. Make sure your volumes are down.
Are we good?
Might have been because of my.
Are we good? Are we good?
Let us know. Feedback fam. Y'all still hear feedback? Let us know.
Still feedback? How is it?
Let us know. Check.
That's better.
That's better. Look at
Okay,
that. Okay, I
perfect.
think it's because of my iPad. So what'd you do this weekend?
So I was in DC
Yeah.
to celebrate one of my sister's birthday.
Mhm.
And, we was also celebrating Bishop's birthday this weekend.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday, Bishop Stephen Walker.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. What about you?
Man, family time this weekend, man. Some great time with the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really like family time this week. Space Jam came out.
I watched it this morning.
Got a chance to watch that.
Yeah.
So it was a family. It was a chill weekend, man.
Still an echo. Somebody said that's better. Somebody said
Still an
that's
echo? Not good. What's going on?
See, everybody got their volumes down on all the devices.
Are those muted?
Let's make sure. Still an echo. Still an echo. Let's
going on?
Let's see here. Oh, I know why. There we go. I fixed it.
Did you fix it?
I fixed the Holy
Did you?
Ghost. The Holy Ghost. I fixed it.
Is
was
it?
you.
I
Is
promise
it
you I
better?
did. I promise you I did.
It was you.
Because
Is
it's
it
too much
better?
pressure, man. Can't take the pressure, man.
It was him.
There we go. We fixed it. I know what it was exactly. Okay, I went axe throwing. I did. I went
seen
axe
that.
throwing.
How was it? I haven't
It was
been yet.
actually
I didn't know that was recent.
yeah, that was Saturday night. Yeah.
Nice.
It was terrifying and exciting at the same time.
Well, terrifying.
Terrifying because I have a tendency to be very impatient and quick, and so I was trying to make sure that I followed all the rules, make sure that I didn't go before my time, and I kept doing this thing where so you go 2 people at a time.
Right.
You throw, then the person throws, but you're supposed to wait until they throw to go get your
We're
axe.
anticipating.
And I just kept going, and they were throwing, so it was a lot, but it was fun. I think we should do that.
Did you envision anyone's face on the act?
I did.
Did you?
Yes.
Ooh.
Some were one.
But now,
two,
wait.
some were the
Now
bullseye. and it felt
us who.
great.
Tell us who. Tell us who.
Yes, and CJ, now you're my friend, man. You're not Pastor CJ. You're not supposed to
First
expose me.
48 hours.
I didn't watch 48. He knows I love the first 48. Last weekend I think I told you I literally watched it all day long. I watched like 15 episodes. But I didn't this weekend. Praise the Lord.
Yikes.
Yeah, so yes, I definitely did. I definitely had faces and it felt amazing. To God be the glory.
You sound really excited about that.
I was very excited.
Okay.
And got to church on Sunday and preached like a madman because of it.
I'm praying.
Praise the Lord. Amen. Now shut up. I sure did.
Got your frustration out.
I sure did. Listen, our energy is like we gotta build it up. We had a lot going on trying to get today together.
Oh my goodness.
The man of God was trying to buffet his brother and frustrate me.
goodness.
Then he had us listening to Negro spirituals.
That is
exactly what
So
that was.
we're in this.
that is the late great Walter Hawkins.
It was a whole
This
15
guy-
minutes
Shirley
long.
That was Shirley Miller
It was so long,
and
yo.
Yvette Flunder.
for 13 minutes.
15
That is a
minutes.
classic.
Round up.
Okay, now here's the only way you can defend that.
Classic.
Okay,
What?
You believe that?
I do.
Okay, this is the only way you can defend it.
What?
You have to sing some of it.
I can't.
No,
I
no,
cannot-
no.
I
Oh, we have the video.
We got the video.
Oh, we have the video.
Please don't
You
make us
cannot-
Oh, we have the footage.
You cannot put that up.
Get on my Instagram, please, real quick. We have the footage,
That is
Saints.
a classic.
Yeah, we're gonna okay.
Fully complete.
So do
that's
you
a
want
classic.
to sing it here or do you want
That
people
is-
to hear the video?
That's not even.
Oh,
what are
you're
you
gonna
doing?
sing some of it
That is
either way.
not even important right now.
Listen, nope. We're gonna mute our mic so you can sing, Pastor. I know y'all hear him in the background. I know y'all
Yo,
hear
you
him
are-
singing.
you
Go
are
to
out of
my
control.
Instagram right
You
now,
gonna send them there right now?
Cameron.Washington.
Why would you send them there
The
now?
video is there, and I want you to share it.
Why would you send them there?
I want you to share. Oh yeah, this is your debut, brother. God said new gifts and callings upon you. Yes. And
Pastor
you had that
Craig's
though.
first
You
album.
had that though. I heard it. I heard
Pastor
it.
Craig's first album
Yes.
is coming out.
And you have to be on the cover like this. Oh, it's
Yo,
coming.
You
Oh, it's
are
coming.
Out of control.
Y'all also know what time it is.
Y'all are out of control. What time is it?
Do you know what time it is?
I don't. What time is it?
Rep your city.
It's time to rep your city.
Rep your city.
We need to know where you're
Hey.
watching from
Where you
tonight.
from? Where you
Hey,
from?
all
Hey.
20 of
Where
you.
you from?
Which is still not good. We need you to share it. But you know, right now is the time where we do it every week. We have you
Monday.
rep your city, brother.
Oh, is that one?
Come on, Yvette Flunder. Rep your city. We got Drexel Hill, PA.
Where you at? Where you at?
Hey.
Where you at? Where you at?
Hey, Karen Mooring from Philly is in the house tonight.
Brooklyn.
Hey.
Brooklyn.
Hope City strong. That's right. Pemberton.
Why did
Hope
tickle
City.
you so bad?
Y'all are crazy. Y'all are
It
crazy.
tickles him every week.
Y'all are crazy.
Yo.
Sakifia DMV.
Oh my God.
West Philly is in the house. Shout
Yep.
out. I know y'all had crazy church. We had dumb church
Yo,
yesterday.
church was out of control. yesterday.
KDT and
Church was out of control
Hope City,
yesterday.
put in there what kind of church you had.
Church was
And I know
out of
you were
control.
part of both because you be
Yes.
peeking in on both. So we
I do.
yeah.
Church was out of control
we had-
yesterday.
Baltimore is in the
Yep.
house.
I see it. I see it.
Chislehurst, New Jersey. Hey, South
I see
Jersey.
it.
You know I'm a South Jersey as well,
Hope
Jocelyn.
City strong.
Yeah. CJ, get out of here.
Paris.
More like Parish.
Switzerland.
My brother CJ Baltimore is in the house. Bahamas, Rika is on there. Yeah, that's right,
Somebody's
CC.
off the mat.
We had crazy church yesterday. Crazy
Crazy
church.
praise.
Yes,
I love
yes. KDT.
You see Mother English?
7100.
That's right,
Yes.
Mother English.
Yes, yes,
She has been
yes.
here literally for every
I
episode.
love it.
We
I
love
it.
her.
I love it.
Every
I
episode.
love it.
I love it.
I love it. Tony Banks, brother, representing another person known me all my life. Really,
Nice.
really all my life.
Nice.
All right, so listen, guys. Pastor showed off. It was the demonstration. Oh, it was definitely the demonstration.
Listen. That
Oh,
thing,
it was definitely the
I said that thing
demonstration.
jumped on me
Oh
yesterday.
yeah, we saw it.
I needed
yeah,
that.
we saw it. What was your
Needed-
topic yesterday?
Have a seat.
Have a seat.
Have a
Preach.
seat.
Where,
Sit down.
where are the worshipers?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had good church
Yeah.
yesterday. All right, so before we get into hot topics tonight,
Yeah.
you want to do a little shoe cam, brother?
Let's do it.
Okay. And listen, maybe this is why the viewage is Is that a word?
It's not
Okay, it's gonna be one tonight.
viewers.
View
Viewage.
viewage.
Viewers.
The view. Come on, Dubai.
Sheesh.
Maybe this is why they're not where they normally are because you didn't do your sermonette. So
I
since you wouldn't
Didn't
sing,
do my sermon.
can you encourage the people to share it on the timeline, brother, please?
I cannot encourage people tonight, but what I
Oh,
can tell you to
my
get
Yes,
God.
you
into
can do.
No.
is if you see this right here.
Nope.
Now this is a fresh, clean New Balance right here.
Flesh.
This is clean.
Flesh.
Can you put that on the screen for the man of God? Lord have mercy.
I hate you.
Lord have mercy. I gotta take this thing down.
I hate you.
This is too much. This is too much for the
We
people.
need y'all to share it tonight on your timeline.
Let's do it.
Let somebody know because this discussion is going to be really good. All
is.
right.
It
Hey,
is.
Mazda Miles. Mazda, great job this
Viewership.
weekend.
Oh
on
my
Bishop
God.
Walker
The
service.
production. Oh my God. Mazda.
Production guru.
Amazing.
Hand claps in here somewhere.
Amazing
guru.
Mazda.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
She did an
Mazda
amazing
got
job.
that good Shure mic
Yeah.
too. She had.
You seen
I
that?
saw you, Mazda. I saw you.
Yeah.
That's the real deal right there. All right, so listen, we're going to get into tonight's discussion. Before we do that, Lady T is going to lead us in with the tea tonight. What you got
Yes,
for
so
us?
you guys already know I am Lady T with the tea. What is the hottest topics, latest gossip that is out there? So let's hit it off. The president of Haiti was assassinated in his home, and his wife was also shot. So there's a lot of question and speculation around how it happened and the people who were involved. We do know that Colombians had a lot to do with it, but a Haitian doctor who flew in from the States is now in question about his potential involvement as well. Have you guys heard about it?
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. And shout out, I know, especially Karen from Hope City, who's on tonight. That is her native country. Her family is Haitian. And so, Karen, we definitely want you to chime in if we're missing any details or anything that we should definitely know. But from what I understand, the story goes that they entered their house pretty much while they were asleep. Their personal residence came in, assassinated him. She was also shot, and we've got a picture of her. They posted today of her arriving back in Haiti. And what's crazy is you may not be able to tell fully from this picture, but she has a bulletproof vest on.
Wow!
So that shows you how real it
how
is.
real things are getting.
And then so it goes that they arrested several Colombians for the assassination, and then they were in a gunfight with many of them, but it's coming to the surface that it could have been this doctor. That's crazy.
That set him up.
Yeah,
because he wanted to be president.
Yeah. That's pretty
crazy.
Yep. So there's a lot of twists and turns with it, and some unanswered questions that they're trying to get to the root of.
Yeah.
But they definitely killed this man in his home.
I mean, they got in his residence. It's definitely an inside job.
Yeah, because that's the question as
That's
the
an
president,
inside job.
right? How do you get into the residence, right? So something else is going on there. Rest in peace to him. What else you got for us, Lady T?
So Keisha Cole's mother, Frankie, passed away recently on her birthday from a drug relapse and overdose. So many people know for years she has been struggling with drugs, and she was clean for some time, but she relapsed on her birthday and overdosed. So rest in peace to her.
What was the show? Because we got to know her mother on. What was the show Keisha Cole had? It was a reality show, right?
It was like in 2006.
Somebody put it in the comments. What was the reality show?
Reality show.
Yeah.
And you could see all of their family friction that kind of happened and what they were navigating.
Yeah.
And her sister was also on Iyanla Van Zant.
Yep.
Show too, trying to help her navigate her mess.
She sure was.
Wow.
She sure was.
Wow.
Yeah.
So pray for Keisha.
Yeah, definitely. That's crazy on her birthday, right? They said she had been clean for some time, but was
she was
going back and forth.
So this was like she was celebrating her birthday, kind of relapse, and in the relapse she overdosed. It's kind of sad.
Wow.
Well, it's time. We're getting into it earlier, but we want to spread out, and we want you guys, of course, our discussions from the Den family to chime in tonight, because we're going to lead this in with our last hot topic.
Wait.
Come on. You got more for us.
Wait. Did y'all see the new TV series?
Which one?
Raising
Canaan?
Yeah.
No.
50 Cent show? Oh my God.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's a spinoff of the new,
So it's Power Book 3.
It's Power Book 3.
Okay.
He has a whole new series now.
Okay.
And they just finished the next book 2 that talks about what's the little boy's name in the show?
Ghost Son.
Okay. So
I can't think of
Right.
Power
So
person.
book 2 is about his son in the next phase of his life.
Yeah.
But book 3 is about Canaan and the backstory of his life.
Yeah.
Okay.
And whatnot. So they're kind of giving us a background story of his life and leading up. So I'm really interested to see like how they put Ghost back in it and everything that gives us the background story of their childhood.
What's it on, HBO Max or?
It's on Stars. It's really good though. The episode 1 was like really hitting full force.
I thought it was gonna be corny in the beginning.
Yeah, they really hit it full force on the first episode. So I'm glued in.
Yeah. What do y'all? Mazda said, "Shut up, baby. Don't ruin it for me."
Okay, sorry.
Rashawn Curry said it's very good.
Yeah,
It's
it was
very
really
good.
good.
It's very good. So listen, we need you guys tonight because this is going to be a. Mom said she saw it today. She said, "Just okay."
Mother English. Give it some time, Mother. You got to build up.
Hip. You okay?
Right.
She'll be on it.
She know everything.
She'll be on it. So we're talking tonight because there has been news that there is a new strand of the COVID-19 coronavirus that is spreading, that is even affecting children more. And I don't know if you guys have seen on the news, but they've also in LA started going back to mandatory mask wearing, even if you're vaccinated, inside and out because of the spread. And so the topic tonight that we want to kind of bring out is the debate about how the church and religion plays into that. Because during this whole virus, there were a lot of debates about Should the church shut down? Is it biblical to shut down? Should we be wearing masks? Is a mask doesn't mean that we don't have faith.
Yep.
All those different debates. So we want to talk about that because that's a bigger conversation that even leads into a lot of things that we do that are religious more than they are spiritual, right? So a lot of the things that we grew up learning, and we talked about this in the beginning of the show when we first started discussions from the den one night. We talked about this, but I want to talk about that, especially because us as pastors,
Sure.
kind of navigating that. Yesterday was our first time back in the sanctuary since last year. It's like, I want to say September or so all together. We went from inside to parking lot to just me to bringing the media team back. So what are your thoughts on that as it relates to how that plays into the church? And we want you guys to comment as well.
Yeah, I think the first part is like, for me, the responsibility of a pastor is to use wisdom and protect the lives of people. So I remember when COVID came around the first time, we shut down, and it wasn't the only reason it was a difficult decision for me is because I knew a lot of people at that point really wanted God and wanted to be inside of the sanctuary.
Yeah.
But I knew the bigger picture was, despite my faith and belief, I knew that what was going on, it was time to, because at that point we didn't really know what was what, and what the end result was going to be. Then all the tragedy started, and I'm like, hey, the last thing I want to deal with is another tragedy inside the church.
Right.
So, let's shut down. Let's be wise. Let's go virtually, and pray that this thing passes. Because just because I use wisdom, that doesn't mean I lack faith.
Right.
Exactly.
So we're going to start this with COVID, but we're going to expand this conversation. So we need you guys to chime in. And the question we want to ask you tonight are, what are some things that you were told as a child you could or could not do as a Christian that you learned on your own later were false? Inquiring minds want to know. What are some things they told you couldn't do? Couldn't go to the movies, couldn't wear red lipstick, couldn't.
Oh, the red nose was a thing.
Was it?
The red nose and the red lipstick was a thing.
He was a Jezebel. So let's talk about that. I want to open this conversation to understand where do we think those things came from, and why were they adopted so easily? For me personally, I think it was a lack of knowledge. I think that it was taking some of the scriptures in part. For example, not to make this a biblical show, but I actually think, and I see your comments coming in, so we're going to go to those. I think even one of the things, like, I feel like we're doing a Bible study, like, tattoos, or even like when Paul talks about like speaking in tongues versus doing it in private. There's a lot of things that we took like certain parts of. So I think even a lot of things with COVID and things like that, we've taken scriptures about faith or belief and we use just that one part. What are your thoughts? We are coming in the comments.
I would say that the generation before us, I don't think their intention was to make us feel like we couldn't enjoy being saved. I think it was their best effort to keep a respect for the house of God. Because what I will say about that time is, as strict as it may be, the churches back in that time was not empty. Yeah. Churches are empty now with more freedom, right?
Yeah. Wow.
So,
I
don't believe that, their intention was to make us feel like this is a hardship, because let's be honest, in that time, it felt like church was hard. And a lot of times, I can speak for myself, there was a lot of times I didn't even want to tell people I went to church, because they made fun of you because of everything you couldn't do. Right. So you go to church, so you can't play sports, so you can't, and it was my mom actually that was like, no, if you have a game on Sunday, then you'll just be playing on Sunday. Nothing's going to happen to you because you're not in church every time the doors swing open, know? So my mom really helped me navigate through that. But my mom also did speak to me, and I don't think she even knew what she was saying at that time, but she was speaking to the text of, in this world, not of this world. So, but I didn't feel like I couldn't do anything. It was like, remember, you're a Christian first. So where you are, that should always be the light that you shine, no matter what your environment is, because even as a believer, you're not going to find yourself never in an environment that believers don't think is conducive for Christians.
You made a very good point, and I think we should kind of talk about this. I want to read some. Can you do comments tonight?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna put them up on the screen, which ones we illuminate, because you guys are in the comments. But you made a very good point, and you said in regards to churches being full then, even though we had more discipline, and now a separation. So the question is, Do we feel like it's better to have more restrictions if it means we'll be more dedicated, or should there be more of an open space with where you have more freedom and leniency? Like, which do we feel is the better of the two? The back in the day when we had those rules, but we were committed to church, you know, we were in church 5-6 days a week, or now having more freedom, but not seeing as much commitment?
You know, I think it speaks to the nature of knowledge, and I think a lot of churches are empty because of what was given to them that they now know was not 100% factual, right? So, do I think that the reverence and the wholeness and the feeling of the old church should be done away with? No, I don't, because that was a time where I really saw God do some things. And like I said, the church was full. And I'm talking about full with people that went to the club the night before, filled with, people that were alcoholics, like I can remember, being on Ridge Avenue, like drunk people would come inside the church. Right. And they would make noise or whatever. And you had to like kind of keep them. But that's where they came. Right. When preachers walked by, they would put their cigarette down. Right. They would put the alcohol down. Yep. So I think back then the reverence and respect for God's house was much higher than it is now. So what I would say is, with the knowledge that we have, I think what we need to do from that the previous era is bring that reverence back to God's house.
Certain things, like I can remember even as a kid, like we weren't even like at certain points. Now I grew up kind of different in a way where you said kind of you didn't want to tell people. See, I was a kid who I got in trouble at public school for having church on the playground. Like I was in that space, but I remember like when we would go to church, you couldn't walk in the pulpit. Right. You couldn't pretend. We couldn't even like play like we were shouting unless we were serious. Like there were those standards. But I do agree that, having that leniency has kind of caused a lack of commitment and accountability.
I liked what Mazda said. She said, in my opinion, many of the rules were fear-based. I am for freedom based on relationship, because relationship comes with reverence.
I love that.
And I think that's my issue when it comes to a lot of the things when we're talking about old school, when we're talking about some of these rules, because a lot of them were linked to sexism and all the things why women couldn't do certain things or wear certain things or be in certain places. So I think it's just based on the rule of what can and cannot happen. But I do agree when we're talking about the reverence of the church itself that needs to kind of come back. I always had an issue with the rules and the whys behind the rules.
And I think that's the question too, is when you grew up in the prior generations, you didn't ask why, right? Yeah. And there wasn't an illuminating of study of the word, right? There was tarrying for the Holy Ghost. There was all night prayer, but there was Bible study that was to a degree fairly surface. There wasn't a lot of hermeneutics and homiletics and all of those things. So when your pastor told you you don't do that, that was what the pastor said. We're in a generation now where it's like, okay, I hear you, but let's look at why. And then when we study, we're like, oh wait, that's not what the Bible is saying right there. Or one thing that I teach, to our ministers and elders, I'm sure you do, bro, as well, is that when you read some of those things in the Bible, you also have to do the study to understand that the time it was written in,
full context,
right? That some of those things were written because they were in a specific time of consecration, or they were in a specific time where, as you read on, those things change. We got a lot of comments in here, so let's run through. I'm gonna put some on the screen too, bro. You want to read some?
Sure.
Okay, let's go with we're gonna go way back, so maybe some of the things we talked about. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, wear pants and makeup. Okay. No pants, no cutting hair, no nail polish, no secular music, no dancing unless it was the holy dance.
Right. What they say, I'm still dancing. I just got a new partner. That's what they used to always say in the old church. Spring.
I have to say, I'm very concerned about this variant that's getting ready to hit us.
I am too. And you know what I started thinking, bro? Are we gonna go back into another shutdown?
And there's conversation around that too.
Yeah.
What I will say is, yesterday, the Lord did speak to me, and I shared it with the church. And the Lord did tell me that another wave of sickness was about to hit the earth. So I told him I don't know to what degree it will be, but there is another wave of sickness that's about to hit the church.
And one thing we have to realize too is, and shout out to Minister Anika in our church, we have several nurses in the church, Karen as well. And one thing she said, she sent out a text to us. She kind of rebuked us, but in a good way. She said, hey, just FYI, still wear your mask even though you're vaccinated, because you can still get it and you can still give it to other people. So it's not like, even for me, I had kind of just stopped and was, but she was like, hey, just FYI, remember that. Let's go on to some more comments.
They objected a lot of things. However, in my home, my mother created rules according to the scriptures and made me understand that God loved me despite tradition. And I think that's the and this is what I'll say, to the older generation. I don't think the rules were so much fear-based. I think it was lack of understanding. I think
and knowledge. Yeah.
It was according to their interpretation of what the scripture was in conjunction with the reverence of God. I don't think a lot of it was fear-based. I think their messaging was very strong, which could make it feel like they're trying to scare us. But I think a lot of it was really based around the reverence of the house of God and how the house of God should be, what people should look like, what they shouldn't look like. But it's, the times are very different now, and this is an informational age. And so they have a greater understanding that many of our forefathers didn't have,
So let's talk about this. And I know one thing that I appreciate about us, brother, and I want to read some more comments. Matter of fact, let's read a couple more.
Someone said a full church doesn't equal a relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We read Mazda's.
But what I will say, a full church did show that something was needed, because nobody's going to no place where they feel like they cannot get what they need. So no, a full church does not equal a relationship. However, when churches were filled, people went because they felt like whatever I need is in the house of God.
And I think as much as people may buck up against it, at the core, people do want some type of discipline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They want to go somewhere where there is some structure and some type of order. So I definitely agree with that. I forgot what I was just going to say. Oh, here's what I wanted to go to. So when we talk about this, not only were there rules, but there were certain things that were done that I think the new generation may not be used to. It's funny because I'm sure we do the same thing, but even sometimes, in relation to like open rebuke, right? So things like that. So rebuking individuals right in the service, or sitting people down. What are I have my thoughts. I'll let you share first. What are your thoughts on those things and how they look now? I grew up in a time where they would stand you up in the middle of the church. Yeah. They didn't care. Yeah. Stand up right now. What do you don't like? Rebuke you in front of it was no call you on Tuesday and take you in the office. What are your thoughts?
I think for me, I remember the way I want to be handled. And I know what it's like to be embarrassed in church. I know what it's also like to be held accountable and, people not even know the conversation that you have with your leader. Right. So there has been moments where I've had to sit people down. Likewise. But the conversation was in a private setting, with clear directions and understanding. But I also, wanted to make sure that I gave them the tools that they needed, so they didn't find themselves in the place again, right? So my biggest thing was, this is not so much about you not being able to do what you want. This is about you, when you get back up, because you will, right? Making sure that you don't find yourself here again. And so let me give you the tools that you need, that you can think on, work on during this time.
And I think that is the smallest nuances that pushes us from good to great. I'm not just sitting you down to sit you down, but I'm sitting you down, and these are the tools that you need to be able to have in order to be able to do these things. So there is a lesson attached to it, and it's not just a retaliation or a consequence where you're not learning from whatever the thing is, but I think you're also, it's a learning opportunity too.
Well, I think, and this is what I established that with, is that correction reveals commitment. And I think that I think sometimes those moments have to happen to show a person's true commitment to a ministry. I think that correction is necessary.
I agree.
Because when you don't address things, and not that you have to make an example of people, but you have to show that there is a standard here, right? That there are certain things that are not acceptable, but there is a way to do it with grace where you can also restore that person. Because my thing is, if I have to sit you down, I want to do it in a way that you're not so embarrassed that you missed the lesson, that you're not so focused on the offense that you missed the period of growth and development for you. But I think it reveals true commitment.
Yeah, I think, I think the biggest part is like, also, like, people have to understand, like, some people abuse, power as well.
Absolutely.
And so I don't, when I talk about sitting down, it has to be an extreme measure. That is like completely like anybody like, hey, like that's a no, right? So I think, when we talk about sitting down, this is not I got power, I'm just sitting people down because you didn't come to rehearsal, you didn't pay your tithes. No, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about a major indiscretion that could not only just damage the church, but damage the person, right?
Sure.
Because it's also about building them as well.
You know, I like that you said that because Stephanie said something. She said fear was the response to ignorance. They didn't know how to express the fact that they didn't know, so they got angry, and their anger made them mean, and mean made us afraid.
Right.
But it was steeped in ignorance and the lack of knowledge.
That's loaded.
I mean, it's facts. I think, you know, some people, and I think it's two worlds in that. I think there is a world of people that were fearful, and I think there was a world of people like, hey, this is just what I'm supposed to do. You know, so for me, I wasn't afraid when they said we couldn't do things. I just did it because that's the way I was raised. When adults speak, you know, you respect people in authority. You respect. That was the way I was raised. So whatever they said we couldn't do, I'm like, hey, okay, I guess we just can't do it.
I also think too that there's been a disconnect in the trust between members and leaders.
Because when I look in the pulpit, I can't see myself.
Period. Right. And so now there's more questioning of it because it's like, are you following the same too? But the question, the truth is, a lot of the old pastors weren't. I'm gonna tell you a funny story. I wish I could get my grandmother on here right now. My grandmother is 83 now. She used to go to a Pentecostal church in Trenton, New Jersey.
Okay.
They were on a fast for a month.
Okay.
They were told that they couldn't have canned sugar, they couldn't have bread, they couldn't have all this stuff. And she said the moment that changed for her is when they were all on a fast, hungry, and she went up in the pastor's office and he was eating a chicken platter.
Now I'm telling you
the truth.
Now I'm gonna tell you.
She said after that changed it for her.
I won't do that fast.
Now she fasted, but she questioned everything after that.
Yeah, because like you can't.
I wish I could call her right.
Like you can't ask
Somebody give me a
like you can't ask me to do something you aren't willing to do first, right? And so I think that's the biggest.
I am hungry, and this Negro
that's
is
the biggest thing.
Like, come on, come in.
What did you care?
Hey, sister.
Yeah, I think that, you know, I think it's important. You know, I think, you know, I you know, like you can't. If I'm struggling with something, I can't look in the pulpit and see it.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not saying that the pulpit has to be perfect.
Right.
But you have to understand, if you're going to stand in the pulpit, there's a certain standard.
Well, here's
that you got to stand with.
I 100% agree with you. I think if I had to add additional to that, what I would say is I think we're in a generation that, let me see how I can word this properly, respects the fact that they can look and see someone who is in the journey of growth with them.
Yeah.
So a level of transparency that says, hey, I'm not perfect,
right,
and I'm growing. But what we don't want to see is just carelessness where you have no consideration for the fact that you are a leader.
Because I think it still needs to be an understanding, right? If I'm a member of Hope City and you're saying to me, you know, I'm not perfect, you know, I'm just like the rest of you. Okay. But there should be some level of however,
right.
I am working as diligently as I can.
And here's what I did to overcome that. Or here's what I am doing. And let's do the work together.
Sure,
but when you're pointing the finger saying, don't do that, don't do that.
Always nuance. And we talked about that before. Don't tell me I can't do something.
Yeah.
There are certain things that people just live with. And if you don't give them the tools, practical tools where they can grow to live beyond it, you are doing them a disservice. Don't just tell me no when you're not giving me the tools to how to grow beyond it either.
Yeah, but that's the juxtaposition, the place between where either many learn or they experience the fall is, like we talked about in one of our other nights, when pastors do present this perfect persona, and then when they do fall, and then when they fall and there's no remorse or conviction, it leads the people to the place of, well, why am I here fasting and praying and doing all this? And granted, we have to have enough in us. Your walk should not be fully dictated by the reflection of others, because here's the thing you also have to realize is that there's a lot of people or leaders where you have to learn how to take the meat and leave the bone. Right. Yeah. You know, I'm sure with all leaders, let's be very transparent, even with maybe members in our church, they may not like everything about us, but they know that they need the word that is in us, so they know what to take. But let's read some more comments.
So I think Maza says something really good. She said, where is it? She said, I'm just going to go. Oh, the Lord is raising up a powerful bunch of hungry people who are willing to hold their leaders accountable. Yeah. And I even think with that, there's a level of respect. And I think that's the part where I speak about the old generation, right? Yes, yes, I agree that this generation is very key to the success of a lot of pastors because they have a lot of tools that many pastors don't have. But I also feel like there needs to be a level of respect to know, like, yes, I'm willing to accept accountability. However, you're not my leader.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think sometimes communication gets misconstrued.
Absolutely.
Like, yes, I'm open to your feedback, but I'm still the one that got called to do this work.
Absolutely.
So I think that's, I think that's vital. Yeah.
Love what you said, Mazda. I'm just going to go ahead and say the big one. Where is the transparency on financial matters? Millennials and Gen Z are not giving blindly like we did. We got to acknowledge this. They want answers. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's called having a church meeting.
Yeah.
And it's called telling people what the budget is.
Yep.
And I make sure I do it 3 times a year.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I bring them together
Yep.
and I let them know exactly where their money is going.
Certainly.
And I let them know what we're doing. So
you just posted a video today, bro, showing the same thing.
Listen,
this is where your seed is going.
Listen, I agree 1,000% that people have a right.
But you can't do that when you're paying the pastor's cell phone bill and rent, and he's asking for money to get through.
Or he don't have no job because he's full-time ministry. Get a job.
You're gonna stir me up because I got stories. Moving on.
Would you care to share one?
Oh, I got the stories, brother.
It was the side.
But no, I think it's like you can, and this is the one thing that it really breaks my heart is when we scare people into giving.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, can I add to that? And then you elaborate. Let's tag team. Can we tag team?
We can tag team.
When we scare them and when we trick them with blessings that they're not really going to get.
No, they're not.
If you give this $100 in the next 20, and now you mad because it didn't happen.
Like KDT knows, the only time I will accurately say this is what God said is if he said it. And they have receipts where they said, Pastor, it happened just like you said it. Other than that, what I say is, can you partner with me today?
You wanna know what I say? We got rent, and this is how much it is. And so who's gonna give? Because we got to move on in the service. I don't have time to shout you, dance you, lie to you. What you got? At Hope City, am I lying? This is what we need, and this is what we're gonna get.
It's called transparent, because what happens is everybody doesn't leave the church because somebody says something to them.
Mm-hmm.
People do leave the church because they know the pastor's stealing. You know that, right?
Oh yeah.
Because the pastor in the family is the one that's taking care of the finances. That's why I don't handle the finances of the church.
Well, we got a lot of comments.
People can't come to me and ask me nothing about money because I don't know.
Yeah. Now, see, here's the thing. I keep a healthy eye, but I make sure we have people on our finance team who can say yes or no. Don't just everything I want to do. If we can't do that, like how Spring even was with Vacation or Karen or Yvonne and that's how our team is. This is what we can do, and this is what we can.
Pull them numbers out. She said, so what you're saying is this is what
if you divide the 3 and carry the 4, this is what we have, and that's not enough.
But when I tell you every week she calls me, Pastor, this is where we are.
Yes.
This is what we need. Even recently, I had a meeting with her and she said, Pastor, this is the budget that we need to meet every week. And so you know what I get now? It despises me because I saw that abundant light. I used to hate it. The sticky note. I get a sticky note every Sunday offering.
But you get it.
Budget. But what the deficit is
before the day is over. To do the same thing.
But I understand because her thing is, no, we're not in need, but I'm going to always keep us ahead. Because you don't know what's going to happen.
Because we're not going to be
right. And so you need that financial person.
Certainly.
That's like, Pastor, yes, and then Pastor, I'm sorry, I know you would like that, but no, we can't do that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that the transparency is absolutely key. Let's read some more comments. Let's go from here, bro. You want to call them out?
Church meeting. Oh yeah, church meeting. Absolutely, Mazza. You know, church meeting.
Let's see.
It's called lying. That is scaring and tricking. Lord,
pimping God out.
Pentecostal bullies.
Come on, y'all got it. You got them nice shoes on. Why don't you go? I'm like,
checks and balances. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Pastor's
no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I know you got stories too.
What about giving titles and positions to keep? Listen,
now when you say, Mary, when you say to keep, do you mean like to keep for like forever or
no,
like,
to keep people at the church?
Oh, the devil is a liar.
That's all you got for that topic?
Yep. Yeah, because it reveals. Jumped up like so many people. We must be talking good. From like 12 to 35.
Oh, there we go. Our crew is
because
back.
Here's the okay, Lord help me. Okay. Because a lot of times sometimes you have to remove it to see where the true commitment is.
Okay.
What are you really here for?
Right.
Are you here for commitment or are you here because you want to grow?
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how many people's commitment to ministry is based upon the recognition that they get.
And to have a reserved seat.
Ooh, Sean Bell. I'm going to that one in a minute. Not yet. I'm going.
Mm.
Listen, I don't. Number one, I tell people all the time, I'm not giving you anything.
Yeah.
So if you've been in church for 12 years and you feel like because you've been in church for 12 years, you deserve to be an elder, you should probably go find a church that's going to make you an elder. Yep. Right. So, and I'm definitely not giving anyone a position to keep them.
You know what I do at my
especially church? Now, this is the one right here. This is my favorite. The Lord told me when listen,
don't we be lying on God?
But
God is
here's my
like,
thing.
Yo, bro.
Don't ask me anything. And then they say, Pastor, what you think? You said the Lord said. I don't think anything.
Right.
I don't think anything.
Right.
Because I teach you, you hear from God just like I do. So if you said the Lord said, and then it don't work out,
then
he can't lie. So
are you lying?
So
who's lying?
And then we stuck to restore.
Now we got to bring you back.
Because you lying.
You know, we just stated
and you believed your lie.
For all our ministers and elders, they have mid-year and annual reviews, and they get a scorecard.
Sure.
And that scorecard includes, and if I'm lying, I'm flying. Y'all put it in the comments because many of them just got them. It includes what they've done positively, where they can improve, and it includes their giving.
Yeah.
All of those things, because what happens is a lot of times people do get stuck in titles and there's no accountability for it.
Jonica, we're going to get to you.
Yeah. Let's go to Sean Bell.
Sean Bell said, honestly, my opinion, the people that work with finances should at least be in the financial team if the church, not just anyone, ex-deacon or trustee. Yeah, listen.
And they should be givers and tithers. You can't count any cursed.
You have to be givers.
Yeah.
And you need a job.
Yeah.
Because if you're not working, I don't know what you're doing back there behind that door.
Yeah. God have mercy.
Okay, I'm telling you, it's the stuff that happens.
But you know what? Here's something good you said, and you crack it up. But here's something good you said, and we're helping someone today.
I need to give me some juice. I'll take this from the store.
Slip me that 20.
I'm thirsty.
But I think as leaders, it is important to get those reports like we get. Same thing. Anna sent every Sunday night, I get a report, because do you know how many, not just pastors, but even entertainers get in trouble because they don't know what's going on with the money, and then it comes back to them, and then they're in trouble or in jail. So you definitely have to.
I mean, again, it's checks and balances. And then it's definitely, well, how about when you don't want the title no more and just want to sit and listen? I think that's okay too. I think there are moments where, you know, people become. Now, I'm not talking about you don't want to do it because you're mad at somebody, or, you know, you don't want to do it because, you know, somebody not speaking to you. I'm talking about, you know, you just in a space, like sometimes leaders burn out. Yeah. And we have to stop making people feel like, you know, something's going to happen to them or they're not valuable because they need a minute to say, let me sit down from here right now. Yeah. Or there are times where people want to experience other things in their life. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm not leaving the church. I just don't desire to work in this, you know, in this office anymore because I'm looking at, you know, another view, or my path is going in a different direction. You know?
I think it's important to understand that concept, because what happens is a lot of times we keep people in positions and the title is there, but the passion is not. And so then it reflects. So then it reflects in their work ethic. It affects their attitude. It even affects their ability to receive, because it's just like a job you don't want to be in, right? You know, when you start going to that job every day, eventually you lose your passion, and you're there, but you're not really there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Let's read some more comments.
Or a close family member or friend who the trustee and keeps the bills in check, but vague and trying to hustle the saints about the church bills. Seen it for myself.
Lord,
and I'm saying, like, these are real life situations that have damaged people from the church. Everything hasn't been, molestation or things like that.
Certainly.
There are other things that people have experienced where they like, that's why I don't even deal with that.
Yeah. I think it's very important. So here's another thing we can talk about. Let's talk about all these things, because this is great. I really am enjoying this conversation. So what are your thoughts on publicly displaying giving in the church? There are many churches who, growing up, that I've seen, and some even still do it, where they print the tithers in the program, where they have a bulletin board that shows who has given. Now, I have some thoughts because there's some things that we've instated at Hope City, but I'm curious. But what do you think about that?
I don't believe that's necessary. I
was
feel
about to say,
like
what's the purpose?
I feel like people are going to give
Mhm.
whether they want to give or not. And listen, if I'm not giving, you not putting my name on a sheet
Right,
or
right.
trying to blast people that don't tithe. That's not going to make me give.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what, to me, that's what that shows. It shows that there is, and again, this is just my opinion. If somebody thinks
Dr. Souls,
differently,
love you, man.
someone thinks differently, share it. But I feel like when I see that, it makes me feel like, okay, this is a mechanism to not embarrass people, but to encourage them to give, which makes me feel like there's a lack of genuine giving if you have to display
I
that.
feel like it's a scheme.
But on the other hand, what we do in Hope City is we do share a giving report with all of our leaders and ministers.
Okay.
Now, we don't put amounts, but we do show this is who's giving out of the leadership, because as a leader, I think you are held to a different standard.
Absolutely.
And there needs to be accountabilities, not to embarrass you,
Right.
but accountability that if we're all in this together, we need to know that we're all in this together. Now, that's
Again,
not
and I
something we
think
share
that's
with the whole
all about
church.
how we do it, right?
Yeah.
I don't see the whole purpose in publicly posting it up. Like, one, that's not everybody's
Jesus,
business,
Jocelyn.
because you really don't know everybody's circumstance either.
Right,
You have
right,
to get
right.
down to the core of why people. We can't just assume that they're not giving because they don't want to, right?
Yeah.
And that's a whole lot of different things. Now, when you're talking about leadership, yes, that should look a different way,
Mhm.
but the way in which we do that should be in a very confidential manner as well.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we don't put amounts or anything like that, but you're able to see, okay, these are the leaders who are giving.
Yeah.
This is where, and again, like I said, even with personally with our ministers and elders on their scorecard, they get to see, their giving, whether, good or bad. I don't think it's all bad. I can definitely say I thank God that we've never been in a place where we've ever been in a deficit. We've always had more than enough, but that's because, and I've seen you do the same thing.
Sure.
The spirit in which we encourage people to give is
Yeah.
not dogmatic.
Yeah.
So people enjoy giving. And when we teach on giving,
Yeah.
So here's my question.
Go ahead.
When you
Mhm.
and even thinking about your leadership, are you saying, like, when you're talking about giving, the amount they give or their consistency?
consistency,
way they give.
consistency, because one thing that I always say during offering is we can't all give on the same level.
Right.
If I make 50,000 and you make 100,000, then realistically giving $1,000 is not maybe realistic for
And
me.
I think that's
But
the
if my
piece.
heart is in the place with that
Yeah.
one $10 or $100,
Yep.
so it's more about consistency
And I think
versus.
that's the piece that churches often miss. It's always about the amount relative to
No.
the
Yeah.
reverence and the reason behind
Yeah.
giving.
Yeah.
If you can sell people on why they should be given
Right.
relative to the amount that they be given, then
Yeah.
you will probably get a whole lot more people. When we're always trying to sell an amount,
Yep.
right?
Because here's the
But-
thing.
but-
Go
yeah.
ahead, go ahead.
But I think you also have to be, I think it is about the manner and the spirit of giving, because what I
Right.
also
Absolutely.
don't believe
That's what
in
the Bible says.
is, once you give your tithe and offering, okay, we have a sacrificial offering and
Yeah.
you need to pay your bills. You need to go pay your bills, right? There's enough people that can pick up the slack
Yeah.
from the sacrificial giving. So I think the biggest part, and I did it one Sunday, I sat them down before church and I taught about giving, and I taught the responsibility of giving. I
Yeah.
even did it in Bible study, right? Because again, I think people need to understand, number one, why am I giving?
Gonna get you
When I
Exactly.
give, what
What does this
spirit should I give it
mean?
in? Because even if
Yeah.
you're not a cheerful giver, you're still not going to get the return.
Yeah.
So it's so
Right.
many
Well,
facets.
that's what the
to
Bible
giving,
says.
But I think it's it's
But I
just
think
like
that's the elements that we're missing.
because a lot of people that taught giving were people that do not work.
Yep.
And so if my if my mortgage depends on all of you giving, then I'm going hard about
because
giving
you try and get that
And
money
because
to
I
pay
need
the
my
mortgage.
money to pay my mortgage
And
instead of going getting a job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the same thing with the church when that spirit is over, because what happens is, Stephanie, God, I feel you in my spirit. When that spirit is on the leader,
Yeah.
it trickles to the church. Even the
Yeah.
Bible says it flows from Aaron's beard to the
Yeah.
skirt. So if the leader lives in a poverty mindset
Mhm.
and is not a good money manager, then that spirit is going to fall on the church.
Sure.
And so now offering becomes frustrating
Yeah.
and there's a dampening of the spirit. In our church, the level doesn't change.
Yeah.
The dancing music is still playing during the offering. People are still worshiping God. It doesn't go to this
Yeah.
tightness because we don't have a poverty mentality.
And I agree with you. And what I have seen is, and I also believe people are not willing to do what leaders will not do first. It's just the era in which we are, right? And it's a lot that they've seen. So I was very public, and I say this with all humility. I said to the church, the highest tithe payer in this church is me. So none of you need to worry about who gives more. I am the highest one,
Right.
and I take pride in being the highest one. what my expectation is whatever your tithe is, it may
Mhm.
be little to you, but little is much when we do it corporately.
Right.
So when you teach the principle of
The
giving
principle.
Yeah.
and what the end result can be, I'm telling you, man, KDT is blessed
Praise God.
beyond measure, and we do not lack. We don't have to beg. I go back and I ask people to partner with me week by week, me
Certainly.
being the first one. So
Mhm.
I believe if you lead by example, then you not only get people into the mindset of giving, but they're like, oh man, I'm doing this with my lead. Man, let's
Certainly.
do it.
Yeah.
But much of the church has been taught quantity versus quality.
Yeah.
The quantity of the seed versus the quality of the seed.
Yeah.
And the Bible, in essence, the scripture escapes my mind, but in essence, there's a portion of the scripture that even talks about that the poor man who gives what he has but with the right spirit, his seed is honored. But I don't care if you give $100,000 to the church,
And your
if you do
spirit
it
is
with the
wrong.
wrong spirit,
It's
it's still not going to be
Exactly.
honored. And
Yep.
then you're
Exactly.
wondering why God isn't
Exactly.
blessing you.
Mhm.
And then you're seeing somebody who doesn't have enough get it. It's all about the spirit, all of that. So I think that's very
Hey,
important.
like you slamming the money in the
Yeah,
basket
yeah,
and
yeah.
throwing the
Here they
envelope.
Here they go asking for it.
Hey, ask me for another $100.
Yep.
Well, Lord, I'm waiting on my return. You're
Yep.
not getting it.
But I don't want to get too deep in it. And can you do comments after this?
Sure, I can.
I don't want to get too deep in it, but even from a spiritual aspect, when you look at one of the things that we don't understand is that Satan, when you really study who he was not only a musician, he was over the economics of heaven. So when he fell, he also brought with him the curse of the spirit of poverty, which is why it enters into the church, which is, if you ever notice, right now, we will move money from accounts, ask money if we need something to go on a trip, but ask for $10. Everybody in their head, the first thought isn't, let me run to my purse.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Because that spirit has seeped in unknowingly. And
Yeah.
so I think it is about when you teach on giving, like you said, and the principles of giving,
Yes.
or, the flow of economy, right, in your life, then there's a different mindset that
Sure.
you see, because the truth is a lot of times we're holding that $20 for that bill, but that bill's still not going to get paid.
Right. Right.
If you don't understand how to create stewardship management
Yeah.
in your life.
Steph
Let's go.
said, we are excited about giving and we aren't begging. We give people an opportunity to prosper by putting a seed in good ground and expecting a harvest based on their heart. I remember, and Sakitha is on here. I remember speaking to Key to her financial situation on one Sunday. And I said to her, God just spoke to me and said, if you trust me with everything, I will give you what you need. She called me. She called me, and
Man,
Key is
I'm
on
telling-
here.
I'm telling
She
you.
called me the next day and said, Pastor, not only did God meet my need, but it was way more
Yeah.
than I thought. She said, and it was just in my account,
I believe it. I believe it.
because it's the principle of
Mhm.
it, right? You can only give. My mom used to always say, you can only give where you are, right? So if you can't
Absolutely.
afford the $100 line,
Give what you can.
then stick to the 25
Give what you can.
until you can get to the $100 line.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. We just did Super Seed.
Yeah.
Right. And that was one of the things.
First of all, let me pause here. Super Seed
Yes, sir.
superseded
Yes, sir.
what
Yes,
you were
sir.
trying to get.
We raised over
Man, I'm
$10,000.
so proud of y'all,
Over
man.
$10,000.
That's amazing,
But
bro.
you did the same thing
Yeah.
with your
Organ one day.
Here's what you have to understand, though. We work hard.
We do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We don't depend on
Absolutely.
the church.
Absolutely.
So there is an anointing, and the sincerity of what we're doing
Yep.
is felt. So people don't mind sowing into that.
Yeah.
But the overflow, you said people still giving.
Oh yeah,
I
man.
remember
I've been getting texts even while we're
Spring
here.
had paid for the organ. And she said, Pastor, people still giving.
Yeah.
And like people's like, oh, I missed this. Oh no,
Yep.
I
Yep.
need
Yeah.
to give into this. Why? Because they knew that it's good ground
It
over
is.
there.
There's Sakithia, bro. She said so true. I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
Yeah. The Lord blessed her, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we exceeded it. Over $10,000 we raised in a month's time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and still, I was literally getting
That's
texts
super
as we were
dope.
setting up today.
That's amazing.
But the way you keep that river flowing is what we have to do, and this is a principle that I think everyone has to adopt: is we got to take part of that seed and seed it into somebody else.
Bishop Walker is always a
We
conduit.
have
of
to
our
do
seed.
that. We
Every
have
time.
to do that. That's
Yeah.
the only way that seed is going to
Yeah.
continue to
Absolutely.
grow. I think it's
Absolutely.
a really good conversation.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
it's a really good conversation. Let's do some more comments.
Let's do it.
Let's go to
Silver
Mom.
and gold have I none, but my time.
Yes, sir.
Yo, Stephanie is going ham in
Oh,
these
you know.
comments today.
I told you we're gonna bring Steph on for one night.
She gonna say, "Buzz me in."
Overflow. Absolutely.
Jocelyn said, I wonder why some of these churches are still in debt. Y'all be getting all this money, but
Your
yet
mortgage is
mortgage
nowhere
is nowhere.
close or be paid
Yeah.
off. Make it. I think it is a like. I think it's a shame that some people.
I felt that. You meant that.
I do, because you know what hurts me the most is when people really believe in something and they're not going to get a return.
Well, here's the thing,
because of what they're seeding into. And when I say not
ground.
a return, right? You may get something, but what you could get from good soil, the return is different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yes, God will bless you, show favor to you and in some area because of your willingness to give. Right. But just think about what that would be with your heart and willingness and in the right soil.
In the right soil. You have to plant in the right soil.
Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock, y'all. Can you
It's
believe
already?
it? 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
Sheesh.
We could have kept going
I
there.
was just getting
This
warmed
was
up.
good.
Listen, Lady T, you want to make a special announcement for us about our season finale show?
So season finale is August 9th, guys. Listen, seats are filling up and it is limited.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in being in our in-person audience, you want to make sure that you are emailing us at dfthedin@gmail.com.
Mazda said, how is it 10 p.m.? I know, Mazda, that went
with
quick.
your first and last name, and let us know. Listen.
Yeah.
You miss it, and you'll
gotta
see
do
it virtually.
And
Location.
Imagine
Mazda said location.
if this is how the show is with just y'all in the comments.
Yeah.
Imagine how it's going to be when y'all actually get here in front of us. Let's do one more comment because
Yeah.
Jocelyn looks
I know
like
a pastor who sacrificed his birthdays and pastoral anniversary to only celebrate in every 5 years so the church could pay off the mortgage on the extension of their church and community center. Listen, I after my very first service I had, I gave the offering back because the Lord spoke to me and said, don't take anything for 1 year. And
oh God,
and let me tell you
where's my
something.
church?
And it
Because
wasn't even Spring is
for the
on
first
here.
year, for the
All of
first
them are
year,
here. Yes, mother. Yes, mom is going to be at the studio. Spring, everyone from KDT is here. And I said to them, the Lord told me, don't take anything out of this church for 1 entire year.
Bro,
I did not
why
do
you
it
are my brother,
for
man.
1 entire year. And then they came to me and said, Pastor, we can't do this no more.
Where is my church, bro?
can't
When
do
I
this
tell
no
you
more.
we have the same, and this is why we were covered.
Absolutely.
I have the same exact
Absolutely.
story.
Absolutely.
I would not. I just started letting them do pastoral offering within the last, and that was still like
I only do, and
okay.
I only do. So Spring, with her money mind, said, Pastor, we could do something every week. I said, I will give y'all one Sunday.
Wow.
One. Fourth Sunday is the only Sunday, and I don't have no set amount. I don't tell people what to give. I tell Spring whatever it is. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. People can only give where they are. I work every day. I do not need the church to take care of me, and I'm proud of that. But I agree. This is why we're so connected.
I'm serious. I could almost cry right now.
Literally, I told 1 year, don't give me anything out of this church.
Because the way you tell a man's heart is by their money.
Yeah.
And when you're willing to, man, I'm getting emotional. I'm serious. No, I'm serious. If I never knew that we were covered, the fact that we were on the same page with that says so much. Yeah. Because a person can be skilled, they can be anointed to preach, but the way you tell their true character is by how they handle money. I respect you for that, bro.
Love you, man. Listen, on October 14th through the 16th.
Wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
Because y'all got real deep. And people had questions about
our
finale.
Man, I was about to cry.
Sorry.
Before we go to the next event,
I was trying to segue into holy convocation.
I know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So with the finale, it's going to be here at the studio. So again, if you are interested, make sure that you.
It's going to be in Philadelphia, Mazda.
Yes. Maz is going to be here.
AC Soundstage.
In the new sound stage.
Yeah.
Sound stage.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be here. So again, if you are interested in going, seats are limited. Make sure that you email us at dfthedin@gmail.com.
dfthedin.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, brother. Conversation.
On Thursday, October 14th. There it is. Thursday, October 14th through Saturday, October 16th. We will be in our first annual Kingdom City Alliance Holy Convocation. Services are taking place at the Cathedral of Fresh Fire, and you can go to kcaconvocation.com right now. That's the website. The hotel information is there. Listen, we have a certain amount of rooms that are blocked off, and once those rooms are gone, if it's in enough time, we'll be able to add. But if it's not, you're going to be stuck with that. Listen, you do not want to miss Holy Convocation. You don't. Thursday night,
Oh, it's gonna be crazy.
Bishop Anthony Gilliard.
It's gonna be crazy.
Friday night, Reverend Marissa Farrow.
Now wait a minute. And who's preaching on Saturday night? We might.
And
as well
on
go ahead and let that know.
Saturday, they told me some headed man
My
from
God,
Baltimore
what's his
is
name?
coming.
What's his name?
Pastor William Craig.
Yes, sir.
Lead
Yes, sir.
pastor at
Yes,
Kingdom
sir.
Deliverance
Yes,
Tabernacle.
sir.
Listen, we want you guys to come make plans now. I've been telling the church, tag up together. Find your roommate.
Yeah.
Get in the room. That you don't come to convocation to shop. You come to convocation to get what God got for you.
Yeah.
And it ain't no day sessions this year.
No, we're coming every night.
Every night.
We
Ready.
didn't announce it yet, but we're going to announce our next musical guest. We have 2 more musical guests we're going to announce.
Yep.
Plus, we are honoring 2 pastors and 2 bishops and an apostle.
Yeah.
We're going to be announcing that. So details
Yeah.
will be going up on the site. Also, if you go right now, the hotel information again is there. You can start booking your room. The code is KCA, and the link is right there on the website.
Mary, and I pray on Saturday, whatever your plans are, God cancel them. She said, I'm there every night but Saturday. I pray God cancel your plans.
Oh God, yeah. I don't think we mentioned too. Yes, Elder God's mama Lorraine Stansel, is one of our musical guests.
Lorraine Stansel.
Yeah. We might as well go ahead and put it out there. We want to share that.
Yeah, we can.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we have the Lorraine Stansel coming on Friday. AJ Collier.
Yep.
And Band of Believers. We have Thursday night is the Convocation Choir.
Hey, Shabaha.
Convocation Choir. Shout out to Lauren Riley.
And we got my old family back in the day. Used to sing with
The
them for
Bishop's
several years.
Choir.
The Bishop's Choir.
The
from
Bishop's
Trenton,
Choir.
New Jersey.
Do you think
Oh God.
you think Corey's going to do all things?
Of course.
Because I just want to
power.
hear Family What Church.
Oh, I need power. Oh, we're gonna have crazy church. Get your kitten heels ready if you need to, because we dancing all night.
The kitten heels and the slingbacks.
We dancing all night. It's been real.
Hey,
Tierra, I love you.
Love
Bro,
you, man.
I love you.
Love you, dude.
Give it up to Tate Digital
Yeah, Tate.
in the back helping us out. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, peace.
Peace.